वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा. Hello everyone. Hope you are all getting ready to celebrate Vinayaka Chaturthi, the birthday celebration of Lord Ganesha. Many of us love this big tummy, cute, lovely Bala Vinayaka, right? Any temple we go, we see the Vinayaka. We see Vinayaka, Lord Ganesha, right? And his birthday is on its way. The whole country is waiting to celebrate. Of course, may not be as grand as in any other year because of the situation we are now. At least inside our homes, that we're going to be celebrating, praying, and getting a lot of blessings from Lord Ganesha. Because it is the Vinayaka month, Chaturthi month, I thought this season storytelling session of mine would be covering a lot of stories of Lord Ganesha. I hope you know Lord Ganesha. How does he look? Very smart, yes? As an elephant head, with a trunk, with a very huge ears, sharp small eyes, and then the tusk. One tusk, half tusk, and then of course the body of the human form. That's how we know Lord Vinayaka, right? So today I thought to take you onto a journey, and a fantastic journey of the stories may not be so familiar to everyone. Because for anything and everything related to Vinayaka, there are stories. How Vinayaka got his elephant head, how Vinayaka is got its rat as his vahana, why Vinayaka like this, why Vinayaka like Modaka, this and that, and so many stories. We can have books and books on Vinayaka stories, right? And children especially, they love Vinayaka stories. So at least one story you would have heard from your grandparents or parents or even teachers. At least one story you would have heard about Lord Vinayaka, right? So today I am also going to take you into stories of Vinayaka, which you will enjoy and also learn a lot more about our favorite god Vinayaka. Yeah? So, who is Vinayaka? Where does he live? From where does he come? So, as we are into Indian mythological stories of Lord Vinayaka, Lord Ganesha, or Lord Vigneshwara, Lord, you have so many names for this Bala Vinayaka, Bala Ganesha, you name it. Such a pleasant Lord, he showers his blessings with our simple prayer to him. Why is he so special? Why everybody wants to know if anything and anything has to be started, everybody prays to Lord Ganesha before getting on, even doing any puja. They first do Ganesha puja and then they begin with any other deity pujas, right? So why so much of special? Why everybody loves Lord Ganesha? It's because of the charm, the vibrance, the intelligence, and the example that he shows to us that how to lead life. The big ears resembles that we have to listen. More than talking, we have to actually listen, right? The sharp, small eyes tells us that we have to observe, right? And the big tummy resembles that we have to digest. Life is full of ups and downs. We have to digest everything properly and has to be having a balance. And this and that. Right. Let me get in you with some interesting stories. And for this today, I've got 3 stories. The first story talks about From where does Lord Vinayaga comes into and saves us? Where is his actual home? And the second story tells about the Mahabharata, the greatest epic of the world. How is Vinayaga related to it? And the third story talks about his favorite thing which we use it for, praying, for doing puja. What is his favorite? Is that blades of grass. Not any costly flowers or ornaments or, jewels, but a simple grass that's called the Dhruva grass, or in Tamil we also call it as Argham Pil. So these are the three stories that I thought today I'm going to tell. So let's go straight into the story. मूषिकवाहन गजानना मोदकहस्ता गजानना विघ्नविनायक गजानना चामरकर्णा गजानना. The Vinayaka, the Gajanana, has its home believed to be far, far above from our plane. Into the lokas on the top portion of it. It's called the Swananda Loka. The Swananda Loka, as per the Ganesha Purana, is a place where Lord Ganesha resides. He has a huge ocean of water. The ocean is filled with sugarcane juice. Very sweet, very aromatic. And that huge ocean, there is a huge flower, a lotus. A huge lotus flower with 1,000 petals. Pink lotus. And just on the middle of the lotus is this golden seat where Lord Ganesha is seated. A blissful appearance. The golden form, body, with a tusk, long trunk, and then the huge ears. Lord Ganesha wears a beautiful crown adorned with jewels and with special mala, with a garland. And then there is a tummy, seated like a child, like 8 or 9-year-old child, looks around with curiosity, with so much of love and compassion, waiting to safeguard any soul and any being looking for help. Lord Ganesha's home is Swananda, from where it is believed that he comes on forth and he is present everywhere where his devotees are looking out for him. Here he is known as Siddhi Vinayaka, Varasakti Vinayaka, Ganesh. Various names being given across, spread across the yugas. Because in Hindu mythology, we say that the time zone has been divided into 4. So Vinayaka, the Ganesha, is believed to come here yuga after yuga in various forms. In the Satyuga, Vinayaka is believed to be having 10 arms. And then in the Tirtha Yuga, he was having 6 arms. And in the Dwapara Yuga, he was having 4 arms. And then now the Kali Yuga, he is believed to have come with 2 arms. Beliefs apart. The birth of Vinayaka means, Vinayaka means the birth without a man. The birth is more of a spiritual nature, without any natural process. Now you may ask, then we have been listening to so many stories of how Ganesha was born, Ma Parvati had created him, right? It's, there are so many versions if you go into and see. A lot of stories are there, saying how Ganesha was born in Bhuloka, here, in this Loka. That one popular story is certainly from the Dwapara Yuga, where he was born to Lord Shiva and Parvati. How? Let me do a recap to all those who already know, and to have a fresh story to all those who are waiting to listen to how Ganesha is so well popular and he is born in this Yuga. In the Himalayas, there is a place called Kailasha, which is near a huge lake called Mansarovar. And in that mountain Kailasha, during Dwapara Yuga, Lord Shiva, with his consort, with his wife Parvati, had come here to take care of the well-being of the Rishi and Munivers and other beings. So there Lord Shiva, always in his meditation, Parvati loved getting into and having a kitchen, cooking for all the people around. Whoever used to come to meet Lord Shiva, to serve Lord Shiva, she would serve them food with love and affection. Shiva had nothing to do with it. He was totally not in a human form, so he was totally into his meditation, into detached mode. But Ma Parvati had these thoughts of attachment, having a baby, having a family, cooking for them, that she was enjoying the process. So one day, Ma Parvati thought, I must have a son. And that's so she took, as a playful mode, she took some turmeric. During those times, or it is believed even today, women apply turmeric when they are bathing. It is so good for them. It's a medicinal protection for their skin and for their whole body. During those days, it was so natural, no soap, nothing. So they used to bath with pure turmeric. So she took the turmeric just before going into bath. She took it, and with her sweat, she dropped certain sweat, and then she molded a dough, and from that she created a human form, small human form, doll-like boy. She placed it onto the ground, and with her power, she gave this doll life. As she touched the top portion of the doll, the eyes of the doll opened. The small doll emerged to get a form of a small boy of say around 8-9 years. He grew up in size, well built, with arms, as if nicely eating every day butter and pure fat, well built, with a beautiful small tummy, stomach, and a smile cannot be compared. It cannot be compared to even 1,000 stars. With a dimple on his cheeks, the bright eyes that even sun would shy away looking at. So it was so bright. The face was so bright, so vibrant, because that was the creation of Ma Parvati herself. So she created, and there the son of Parvati was born. She named him Vinayaka. Vinayaka was chubby, was playful, and was so much in love with his mother, as like how we all do. So he was so much in love with mother. The mother, Parvati, also adorned him. She gave him modaka, she gave him laddu, she gave him whatever he wanted to eat, and he kept eating. On all these things, Lord Shiva was meditating. He was not aware about this play. He was not aware that he has now got a son. So as they were enjoying the food and all the play, suddenly Ma Parvati said, "Okay, Vinayaka, I must go and take a bath. You must guard me. You must ensure nobody comes around." Lord Vinayaka immediately agreed for it. And as Ma Parvati went away to take a bath, she stood straight on the gate, looking around if somebody is coming or not. There came a bee. Soup, soup, soup. Vinayaka shoo it away. There came an ant. Soup, soup, soup. Ant ran away. Vinayaka was protected. Nobody to enter into his gate. And during that time, Lord Shiva, after meditating, naturally wanted to come inside and look into his wife. So as he was approaching into the gate, strangely he saw a small boy. He had never seen this boy before. What he has to do here in this Kailasa, in the abode of Lord Shiva and Parvati? He looked at the boy and he came near and asked, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And in return, the boy looked at Lord Shiva. Now the boy did not know who was he, right? So he looked at him as like a stranger. He's like, "Who are you?" And Lord Shiva was quite taken away by the bravery of the child. He was not getting scared looking at the ash smeared Lord Shiva with the tangled hair, with the Trishula in his hand. The boy looked at him with anger. In fact, "Who are you? Don't come here. Go away," said the small boy. Now at first, Lord Shiva was not serious. He thought, okay, small boy. He kind of smiled and he wanted to enter, trespass. That minute, the boy stopped. He stopped the way of Lord Shiva. So much so that with aggression, that Lord Shiva himself was taken aback. He was getting angry. And you know how Lord Shiva gets angry. He can do Tandava. Yes, so he is getting angry. And when he gets angry, what he does? At first he asked the child, "Move away. You know whom you are talking to?" The child did not move. Instead he said, "You go away. We don't know whom you are talking to." They both started to have a fight. And as Lord Shiva got really angry, he immediately took his Trishula and beheaded the child. And the head of the child was thrown away into the universe. And the child lay onto the ground, bleeding without a head. Listening to this commotion, Ma Parvati came running from inside. Looking at the scene, she shouted, she cried with pain. "Oh my son! Oh my son!" she cried. And that minute, Lord Shiva realized his ignorance. He realized that this was none but their own son which Parvati Ma has created from her own hands. He couldn't console Ma Parvati. She was in anger, she was in desperation, she was in pain, she was in such a pain of agony of losing a child that he immediately wanted to give back the life to the child. But for that, head needs to be there. They all looked around. The head was nowhere to be found. Lord Shiva immediately ordered his Shivaganas to go around and search on the northern side of the world to see if any creature was there. Just dead, just about to be dying creature was there. Take the head and bring back. So the Shivaganas rushed. They went around, and then they went around the world on the northern side of the world. They found the creature, but of an elephant. The elephant had just given away his life. The Shiva Ganas immediately took the head of the elephant, brought back and gave it to Lord Shiva. Shiva took the elephant head. Time was running. The child had to be given a life. He could not find the original head of the boy, the child, so he immediately placed the elephant head onto the human body of the child. He joined it, he did meditation, and then with the blessings of all the gods and goddesses and everybody's power, life was regained. The child opened his eyes. The eyes of maybe of an elephant, but the spark was of the same child who had lost his head. Lord Shiva held the child on his hands. He hugged him and he blessed him, saying, "From now onwards, you are the Ganapati, the Lord of knowledge, the Lord who gives the entire world the knowledge, removes from the ignorance. From now on, you are going to be the first Lord to be worshipped before anybody." The birth of Ganapati, the son of Lord Parvati and Shiva. And from that day onwards till today, if we have to go for an exam, if we have to do some work, if we want to even do a puja, we first ensure we worship Lord Vinayaka. Many break coconuts, believing Lord Vinayaka loves breaking coconuts. He loves coconuts. They break a lot of coconuts with their prayers. The birth of Vinayaka, just heard. Mushikavahana Vinayaka, Chamarakarna Vinayaka. Then we go into the next story about Mahabharata. And you know, the Mahabharata was actually conceptualized, was actually written by not sage Vyasa, but by our own hero of the story, Vinayaka. The Bala Vinayaka was called by sage Vyasa and asked him to write the story, write the Mahabharata. It was not a story, it was an epic poem. And you know, Mahabharata is till date the world's longest epic. It's a set of lines, formation of a poem, and it is believed to be written by Lord Ganesha. But how? See, so Ganesha comes, sage Vyasa comes. "Yes, sage Vyasa, you wanted my help?" And sage Vyasa says, "Yes, my lord, I cannot think of anybody other than you who is full of knowledge, full of enlightenment, to come and write my thoughts." And as sage Vyasa closed his eyes and started, visualizing all what had happened in Mahabharata, and he started narrating the line after line, our Ganesha took the bottle of ink with the feather, and then he dipped the feather. He took the leaflets and started writing with one condition. He said to Vyasa, "Sage Vyasa, I'm always hungry. If you stop anywhere in between, I don't have any choice but to go because I'm still hungry. Ma Parvati has made me lot of modakas. I have to go and eat. But if you stop, then you don't ask me why I left." Sage Vyasa was in a fix. He had to complete the Mahabharata by any cost. So he said, "Don't worry, I will not stop at all. But for that, you just have to do one small favor." "What is that, Sage Vyasa?" asked Vinayaka. "Nothing but whenever I am narrating a sentence, before writing, you must understand the meaning." Children, that's how we say, whenever you study, whenever you learn something, you must understand it. You just should not just like that by heart or just like copyright it, right? So that's why sage Vyasa also told our Bala Vinayaka, you must understand and then only write it, okay? Vinayaga said okay. So, as our sage Vyasa closed his eyes and started narrating the words, this was like a milli fraction of seconds. What I'm talking is like our Vinayaka just interpreted, he understood the meaning and he started also writing very, very, very fast. So fast, so fast, so fast, and within few pages of it kept on going. Suddenly, the point of the feather, the where he was writing, broke. And he saw Sage Vyasa is continually narrating. Okay, so now our Ganesha looked at, I have to immediately look for replacement. He looked here and there was no other feather. There was nothing to write. He looked here and there and then he saw long trunk with his two tusks. He immediately broke one tusk and immediately dipped into the ink and started writing. Sage Vyasa said, and he was writing, finally completing the whole epic Mahabharata. That's what we say. If we just go carefully and look into Lord Ganesha's pictures or the idols, you will see, as like any elephant-headed god, he must have two tusks, following from these two sides. One tusk will be full, but the other tusk will be half broken. Now you know the reason. Where does the tusk went? As a pen or the pencil, right? And it helped him to write the Mahabharata. Okay, so that was the story of Mahabharata. Hope you are enjoying the stories. Now we move on to the third and final story of this session, which is the grass story. Elephants love grass. So do Vinayaka. But how? There is one interesting story. As I told you, Vinayaka used to come to our rescue, right? There used to be a lot of demons, a lot of evil things. He would come and fight with all the strength that he had, strength of the body and also the mind. Yeah, he used to fight and save us from various evils and various demons. So once there was one demon of fire. He was known as Angalahasura. So he was so furious, he was so ferocious that nobody could defeat him except Lord Ganesha. And he came and he fought and he gave a thug here, 1, 2, 3. All this fighting were happening and suddenly Lord Ganesha started feeling hungry. There is something to be eaten. He looked here and there was nothing, but he saw the demon here. And then he took the demon himself and yes, he took the demon and swallowed. Oh, Lord Ganesha had gulped the demon and then had digested, and inside it went into the tummy. And inside the tummy, as I told you, the demon was of fire. So much of fire, so much of fire, so much of fire that the tummy started to burn. So much so that the whole body of Vinayaka himself started to burn. And he became so very, very hot. Lord Vinayaka himself couldn't bear it. He was so hot, he became so red, and something had to be done to make him cool. Otherwise, everything around him would burn. So immediately there came for a rescue from the rishis and munivars. They looked around. There has to be something to be given. Water? No. Any other curing medications? Nothing worked. Nothing. No prayers, no mantras, nothing worked. Then suddenly rishi munivars went around and they plucked 27 blades. 27 blades of grass, green grass. There was a specific long, needle-like grass. They just plucked it and they came and they placed it onto the head of Vinayaka. And as they placed that grass, magic happened. Miracle. As it was placed, the hot Vinayaka started to get cold. Within fractions of seconds, he was back to his cold stage. the peaceful, the blissful stage. As Lord Vinayaka saw the grass and he thanked the Rishi Munivers and he blessed them. He blessed them with eternity. From that day till today, no matter whether you have flowers, jewels, anything, no matter. If you have this grass, which is hardly any cost, it comes free of cost, it is there almost everywhere around. If you just offer this grass to Lord Ganesha, he immediately gets cooled, he immediately becomes very, very happy, cheerful, and he blesses you. That's the strongest belief. The grass name is Dhruva grass. Also in Tamil we call it as Argapil. So next time you go to Ganesha temple, or next time you take up praying for Ganesha, doing puja, what you have to do? What you have to offer? Argapil, the grass, right? So do it with love and affection and dedication, and he will surely bless us. Super. So you just heard the 2 stories, the 3 stories. Yes? And I'm sure you would have liked these stories. If yes, do share it with all your friends and family, and also retell it and share it here. And if you are the selected one, it will be broadcasted in this channel as well. So happy Vinayaka Chaturthi. Everybody be blessed, be happy, stay healthy and peaceful. Thank you for watching.